Hi everyone, my name is Christian and welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about meetings. For most of us, it's just another block in the calendar that we have to go through to get back to our real work. But what if I told you that your meetings are actually one of your company's biggest untapped data resources? It's true. Every single discussion, every weekly sync, every project kickoff holds hidden insights about your team's productivity, collaboration, and even team health. But most of us aren't looking. In this video, we're going to unpack 5 surprising meeting insights that most companies completely overlook. And I'll show you how uncovering them can help you save time, improve how your team works together, and ultimately how you make smarter business decisions. So let's get into it. But before we dive into the insights, we need to address the elephant in the room, the cost of bad meetings. You've probably heard of some of the stats before. Recent studies show that up to 70% of meetings are considered unproductive. That costs companies a huge amount of lost time and salaries. But the problem isn't just that we're having too many meetings, it's that we don't measure what happens inside of them. It's like trying to improve your fitness without ever tracking your workout routine and your diet. It's just guesswork. When we don't analyze our meeting patterns, our teams just end up making the same mistakes over and over again. Too many discussions going nowhere and far too few decisions being made. It boils down to one simple truth: you can't improve what you don't measure. And that absolutely applies to our meetings as well. Alright, so let's have a look at what we should be measuring. And here are 5 of the most valuable insights that are hiding within your meetings right now. Insight number 1, talk time distribution. So who's really talking in a meeting? Here's something that most managers don't realize. In a typical meeting, about 20% of the participants take up 80% of the total time. And guess who's one of them? Usually the manager. So think about it. A small handful of people are dominating the conversation while the majority stays silent. This isn't just an observation, it's a real problem. When the same voices always lead, it quietly kills creativity and engagement from the rest of the team. And no wonder everyone's doing emails in parallel. You're missing out on valuable perspectives from the people who might have the next good idea. This is where having the right data comes in. With a tool like MeetGeek, for example, you can actually analyze the speaking time for every single participant in the meeting. And it's not about calling people out, it's about raising the level of awareness, because when you see that a meeting lacks inclusion, you can do something about it. A simple tip might be to rotate the facilitation in the meeting, or you can even be more direct and set aside explicit time on the agenda for quieter team members to share their thoughts. Insight number 2, meeting overload. So are we busy or are we productive? We've all had that week where our calendar looks like a game of Tetris gone wrong. We spend all that time in meetings, we work hard, but are we actually moving forward? Many teams spend over a third of their work week in meetings, but they have no way of knowing if that time actually leads to results and progress. This is another area where data comes in and can give you more clarity. By analyzing your meetings, you can start seeing things like the average meeting performance score, how often you meet, what the recurrent topics are that keep coming up. And once you identify which meetings have a few action items that fail to deliver results and decisions, you have the proof that you need to either combine them or get rid of them altogether. And by the way, if you're ever stared at your calendar and thought, do we really need this meeting? You're not alone. We actually created a quick checklist to help you decide. It's called the Is This Meeting Necessary checklist, and you can download it for free under the link in the description below. Now let's get to insight number 3, the follow-up drop rate. That's where good intentions go to die. It's a silent productivity killer. We know it's great. We had a great discussion. Everyone agrees on the next steps. What needs to happen next? We leave the meeting with a good feeling, but then nothing happens. Research from Harvard Business Review shows that a staggering 42% of action items that are being discussed in a meeting actually never get completed. They just vanish. Often this happens happens because there is no system to track accountability. Doing this manually is tough, but AI can now measure this for you by looking at things like the clarity of the action items assigned and the commitment level in the language being used. With MeetGeek, for instance, the AI automatically captures and assigns every action item in the meeting summary. It's all laid out who owns what and by when. And a good practice is to, at the end of the meeting, go through that list of owners and deadlines. This simple step, combined with reminders, helps keep the momentum going strong even after the meeting has ended. The fourth hidden insight is sentiment trends. How is your team really doing? You could, of course, do an engagement survey once a year, but the truth is the tone and sentiment in your everyday meetings often reveals much more. Just think about it. Are discussions generally positive and collaborative, or is there an underlying tone of frustration or disengagement? These things are super hard to quantify on your own, but they are incredibly important to understand your team health. Modern tools can now analyze the sentiment of your meetings over time. They can detect patterns of frustration, disengagement, or enthusiasm across your team. And this is not about spying on people. This is about getting an early warning sign and increase the level of awareness. Like, how are we doing, really? And most importantly, my advice is to use these insights as a starting point for a conversation, either within the team, and then it's about a reflection moment. How are we with each other? Where can we still improve? Or on an individual level to address potential burnout or morale issues before they become bigger problems. Insight number 5, the knowledge loss index, when good ideas disappear. Let's say your team just had a great brainstorming session. You came up with all these great, solid ideas for a new project. The meeting ends. Now, what happens? Where do those ideas go? For most teams, that knowledge is lost forever. It's either buried in someone's personal notes or scattered across a chat, or it just evaporates. When you record and transcribe all your meetings, every discussion becomes a permanent, searchable record, and it becomes part of your company's knowledge base. It's all structured and accessible anytime, and this is a huge shift in how we think about the value of a conversation. The useful tip here is to tag your key meetings by topic, by project, or even by client name. This way, important insights and decisions don't vanish. They become part of a resource that anyone in the team can find and use later. So we've covered 5 insights, and be assured there's many more, but uncovering them is just step 1. Acting on them, that's where the real transformation happens. And when you start to measure what's going on in your meetings, you can move from guessing to knowing. Using a tool like MeetGeek helps you to translate these analytics into better habits. It leads to real measurable improvements, fewer, more effective meetings, clearer ownership of tasks, and a stronger, more collaborative team culture. Okay, let's do a quick recap. To build a better meeting culture, you can track time to make sure all voices are being heard, measure the value of meetings, not just the time spent in them, follow up to, ideally all single action item, monitor team sentiment to keep a pulse on morale, and preserve your meeting knowledge so it doesn't get lost. So you see, bottom line, you already have all the answers in the meetings to improve collaboration and teamwork. You just need the right tool to uncover them. If you want to see exactly how MeetGeek can turn your meetings into measurable insights and give you a powerful advantage, check out this video, MeetGeek, the best free AI note taker, right here. Now, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.